listen, it was a tough loss. It was an embarrassing loss. It was a predictable loss, and in it was in line with what we saw for the Miami Dolphins for the entire season. But we could still finish on a high note. Everything isn't bad. Everything isn't good. There's
True.
always going to be positives and negatives to any football season. There's going to be positives and negatives to anything that you're watching when you're watching it for your enjoyment and you're watching professional sports, man. So, how about we do this? How about we, highlight the worst of the 2025 Dolphins as well. Let's highlight the best of the 2025 Dolphins, man. So, Rod, who do you want to highlight? And we can start with the negative so we can finish on a high note, man. Who was the worst of the 2025 Dolphins in your eyes, Rod?
All right, Herbie. So my first choice for what went wrong for the Dolphins, the worst of the Dolphins in 2025, Herbie, the slow starts to the season. And let me just, and I have this pulled up here on Pro Football Reference. The One of the problems that the Dolphins had this season, Herbie, was that for whatever reason, whether it was the way the season started, whether it was how the rookies got going, whether it was the defense, Herbie, I'm looking at the defensive statistics here. These are the first stats for, let's say, the first 7 weeks of the season. In the first game to the Colts, we allowed 156 rushing yards. Next game, 122. Next game, 157. Next game, 197 rushing yards. Next game, 239 to Rico Dowdle Panthers. 140 the next game. 104 the next game. We finally stopped the bleeding the following game against Atlanta. And then the game after that, against Baltimore, we allow 150 yards. Herbie, within the first 8 weeks of the season, our defense had 7 out of 8 games where we allowed over 100 yards rushing. One game where we had over 200. So you look at the slow start that the defense had, and that was just part of the defense's problem. We couldn't get any pass rush going. Okay, we couldn't do anything with our front seven. Our front seven was as bad as it got, with the exception of Jordan Brooks, who had to just plug as many holes as he could on the ship. Right? You look at the rookies. Jonas Savinair was one of the worst linemen you ever saw to start the season. Kenneth Grant had us concerned to start the season. Now, these guys came on strong as the year went on, but it was concerning. The overall start to the season, Herbie, putting ourselves behind the 8 ball, 1-6. It was just it. That was a huge part of what went wrong, especially when you think of the fact that some of those early games we had opportunities to win. But I'll get into further about what went wrong when it came to that. The next thing that went wrong, Herbie, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to read it how I wrote it down. Exactly. The Tyreek Hill era ended miserably and was overall disappointing. Herbie, I'm sure just about the only people who thought the Dolphins were going to win a Super Bowl were Dolphins fans when we got Tyreek. Some of us, not all of us, obviously. Dolphins fans, and then maybe the media when they got caught up in whatever win streaks we had early in McDaniel's tenure. But Herbie, when you really think about it, it was such a missed opportunity when you consider not just Tyreek Hill, Herbie, just the overall collection of talent that we had. And the saddest thing to me about it all is the fact that it took until this season for us to really, really see what McDaniel's coaching bones were when it came to the running game. This guy was the running game coordinator in San Francisco. This guy comes here and decides to tailor an offense directly for two guys, Tua and Tyreek. Waddle's numbers suffered. Devon Achan didn't get any real light until this season. Obviously, one, because he was healthy, but two, because Tyreek wasn't the primary target of the offense. So I think to how the seasons have gone in previous years, Herbie, and if Mike McDaniel had stuck to what he knew coming into the Dolphins, which was the running game, which was a specialty of his, supposedly, things could have been different. This man he was so, what's the word I'm looking for? When it came to Tua, Herbie, he wanted to prove a point. He wanted to show Tua, everybody done heard and read the article about him showing Tua 600 plays, 700 plays, saying, yeah, you don't suck, blah, 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 boosting his confidence, whatever. He put so much into trying to show that Tua could be a franchise quarterback. He's part of the reason Tua got the contract. But he didn't think about the football aspect of it, Herbie. Had Mike McDaniel done what his other guys did, the other members of his family, and by family, I mean, you look at Kyle Shannon and Herbie, do you think he's coming up with complex offensive schemes every year in the passing game? No, he just knows to run the football. You think Sean McVay is coming up with super complex schemes? No, he just knows to run the football. Matt LaFleur, He knew when he lost Aaron Jones, you know what he did? He got Josh Jacobs. These guys understand that the fundamentally how to run the West Coast offense, their version of it, the Shanahan offense, you need to establish the run. And with a quarterback like Tua, that's what you had to do, and you didn't do it. So, Herbie, my second disappointment is we wasted Tyreek because the coach who was supposed to actually have the keys to the safe that had the treasure plans couldn't figure it out. And last but not least, Herbie, of what went wrong this season for me, of course it had to be Tua. Herbie, we came into the season. I was talking big boy shit. I was talking big, Herbie. I said, hey, Tua, we've never had a losing record with Tua as a starter, which was true. You look at all his records when he played from 2020 all the way to last season, Herbie, and when Tua played, we never had a losing season. I said, we're going to win at least 10 games. We'll win 10 games. What did we do, Herbie? Tua looked about as terrible as we've ever seen him look, Herbie. And I'm not trying to be unfair to the guy. But Herbie, when you throw 15 interceptions and all of them are against zone coverage, when we see that you don't have the power to throw anymore, when we see you don't have the mental, Herbie, you can't be a 6-year quarterback and you're making crazy reads, Herbie. I'm watching a guy like Drake May who understands he needs to either escape the pocket or throw the ball away. I'm watching guys like Bo Nix do this, and these are second-year quarterbacks. Tua, you're in your 6th season, and you see a bad play design, and oh, well, I guess I just got to throw it to somebody because it's throw it away. Like, Herbie, it was so frustrating to watch Tua play this season. And the biggest complaint always was the O-line, the O-line, the O-line, the O-line. Bro, there were plenty of times. If you look at Tua's interceptions this season, Herbie, how many of his interceptions was he just breezy, beautiful, nigga? Like, this dude's just sitting back there patting the rock. Oh, a pick. Like, I went back and watched all his interceptions, Herbie, just to see for myself. So, Herbie, when it comes to what went wrong, Herbie, the slow starts in various aspects of the team, the Tyreek era came to a miserable end because he's probably not coming back, right? And then Tua, Herbie. Tua, who's supposed to be the franchise quarterback, the $53 million quarterback, Herbie, is what went wrong.
Rod. Shout out to JPS. Someone get a towel. Rod, I was going to say the same thing. You sure you even got enough energy to talk about the best of? I should have saved that for the end. I didn't know you was coming like that. God damn.
Hey, listen, Herbie, hey, hold on, y'all give me a second. I forgot to turn the AC on in the stew. That's why I'm feeling like that.
Round of applause for Rod going nuts. So, Rod, man, round of applause, man. Rod, if the Miami Dolphins had the energy that you just displayed, bro, guys would have went undefeated, dog. Like, that's the level of passion, that's the level of integrity, that's the level of want that the Miami Dolphins just lacked in so many occasions. I don't even want to talk about the how do we even talk about the positives after that?
I'm sorry, bro. I just felt, and Herbie, bro, I've been stewing in this, bro. I've been stewing in this for 17 games, 18 weeks, bro. I've been stewing in this, dog. That's
All
why.
right.
That's why McDaniel got to go. McDaniel has to go, man. He can't
Oh
stay.
my God,
He can't
bro.
stay, bro. He got
Oh my
to go.
God.
He got to
All
go.
right, there's no way to even try to match that with the best of. So let's